Hello again. This is your friendly local undocumented enemy alien, Bill Henshaw. I've got another little newsy thing to talk to you about that just come to my attention, and it's called a status correction program that costs a hell of a lot more money than what I charge for my modestly priced document packets. Trust me. And I don't know. I'm hoping to get a chance to talk to the people behind this program because we have a lot of areas that look strikingly similar. But the difference is that they are using laws that are nowhere found in the Constitution for the United States nor anywhere in American law. What they're doing apparently relies on laws enacted by the City of London and Vatican City. Now, I understand the thinking there, and I agree with it in part. But to do that is very dangerous because I don't know how you get any of it enforced in any American court, let alone the Supreme Court of the United States. And that's the one we're going to have to get a win in to really set these bastards back. But I do agree. Now, in fact, I'll say in their favor that I reviewed my copy of the Treaty of Paris of 1783. And for those of you who don't know, the signatories to that treaty included King George III, King of England. No problem with that at all. King George III, King of Ireland. No problem. King George III, King of France. Really? This is a Protestant who's the king of a Catholic nation? And this is strongly suggestive that there are, in fact, ties between the City of London and Vatican City. I get it. I think those actually may exist. But how could they not know? And by the way, bear in mind here that in the 1770s, we had Franklin over there, we had John Adams and Thomas Jefferson trying to help get the French government to help us, fight the American Revolution against King George III. These were not stupid people here. They had to have known the situation, and it raises some interesting and troubling questions about this whole enterprise. It does. I get it. And I can see where these people are going with this status correction thing. I really can. And another point in their favor, for those of you who don't know, Alexander Hamilton was not his real name. He came to the United States sometime after the Treaty of Paris, and he came through, I think, Bermuda. I don't know all the details about that. But the bastard worked in England in the City of London for the damn bankers over there, the Rothschild bankers. And this bastard gets appointed the first Secretary of the Treasury and sets up the first Bank of the United States, a direct predecessor of the Federal Reserve System. Gets in there for 20 years. Note that it was started in 1792. Do the math. You ever heard of the War of 1812? Now you know why. That's the real reason. It took him 5 years to get the second Bank of the United States chartered, and that was after Madison left office and I can't get his name. Monroe came in as president. They got it for another 20 years, up to 1837. And what happened then, I won't go into too much detail here, but as Andrew Jackson, one of my favorite presidents, and this is a big reason for it, the main thrust of his second campaign in 1832 was to do away with Nicholas Biddle and the Second Bank of the United States, and he damn well did it. But in the process, we had the biggest financial panic in American history to that point in time. And there were a lot of people that profited from it by buying a lot of stock short, including the George T. Peabody Company, who you've never heard of. But they got a lot of money from the Rothschild bankers in the City of London to do all this and made a lot of money. You never heard of them. You sure as hell know the company they became. Morgan Guaranty Trust. That's where the bastards made all their money to start with. Another false financial. There was nothing wrong at the time. There should have been no cause for financial panic except for all this nonsense going on with the Bank of the United States. So we got rid of them. Another 75 years it took them to get the Federal Reserve back in place. So that said, this whole bit of nonsense, certainly is something that they can rely on the other side, which is what I call it, with the status correction. Now, to be sure, I don't know at this point. I have to see a lot more information on this than I have seen, and I want to be fair about that. It may be possible to do both at the same time, although I'm somewhat skeptical of that because once you start admitting, the validity of the lawmakers on the other side, no matter who the hell they are, and it's even worse if you're admitting the legitimacy of lawmakers for whom we have no vote, no say, no nothing. I have a real problem with that. I mean, the way I read the Constitution, it says this Constitution and the laws enacted in pursuance thereof are the supreme law of the land. I love to stick to simple things like that third graders can understand. So we'll see how it works out in the long run. I'm waiting more information now. I will get back to you with an update when I get it. But I would approach this very cautiously at this point, especially if you have to put out $5,000 up front to get involved in something that for me has much more questions than it does answers right now. So like I said, I'll get back to you on it. Thank you.